You are welcome. Today we are talking about anxiety and how meditation can be used to help overcome the devil that anxiety is. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking about anxiety and how we can deal with anxiety. I'm referring to my little notebook. I write these notes down when I just feel guided and led. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is a fear, a type of fear that is mild. So it doesn't really represent as like full-blown fear. I had really strong claustrophobia, and that was a real fear of things collapsing on me when I in closed spaces. But anxiety represents differently. To some people it could be, you go out on the street and you feel like people are judging you because of what you're wearing, and so you're sort of like, you're just anxious about how you look. For some people it could be, you're not able to represent or speak in public because you feel like you don't know what you're saying and you're not good enough to speak. And for some people it could be like the presence of somebody else, or looking at something triggers you and you just have all this feeling within you that is scared or afraid, or your heart starts beating. And anxiety is in different forms, and whichever way it represents, we have to understand that its root is fear. It stems from having this unknown fear that just runs your life in the background. And it's important for us to identify what these fears are and deal with them and tackle them. And that's what we're doing today. So I was never claustrophobic, until about 15 years ago. I was working in London. I got on a tube on a train, and you know how these tubes are very compact, small. You cannot see the outside. And I remember this fear gripping me, and something telling me that the walls were going to cave in and we were going to die. And I remember having this fear, and I remember thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? And I had to come off on the next stop and take a bus to finish my journey. And from that time, I suffered with that anxiety of claustrophobia for the next sort of like 8 years of my life. I could not enter lifts because I needed to, if a lift, which is very rare, if it was transparent and you could see outside, I could enter it, but I could not enter a lift that was like fully closed because I needed to see outside. Otherwise I get this fear that something's caving in on me. And so I suffered with that fear. I could not tell you how it was triggered and why I would have such, where those fears would have come from, because I've been in London since I was 17, and all of a sudden in my 30s, I've traveled by the tube, cramped tube. I've been in really small spaces, and I'd never had that problem. But I suffered with it for about 8 years. And it was when something happened to me that I decided to start meditation. And it had nothing, my starting meditation had nothing to do with the fact that I was anxious with claustrophobia. That was a label for me. I was like, oh no, I'm claustrophobic. I can't do that. Oh, that's a small space. I can't go in it. I'm claustrophobic. And I went by that label, and it was okay. I didn't even question it. I didn't even ask, why am I even, having to deal with this fear that's come all of a sudden into my, adulthood. So sort of like 8 years later, I started this journey of meditation. And 4 months into meditation, I remember going to London. I'd moved out of London. I remember going back to London, and um, we had to go into, I can't remember what it was, into town. And I actually took the tube. I did not even think twice about taking the train. And I was okay. And I remember sitting in the train and thinking, what was that? What was that? Where did that fear come from? And I also remember thinking, where has it gone? And the only thing I had done differently was stop my mind, mind my mind, have an awareness of my mind, being in the moment. And the practices that I had started doing 4 months prior had helped me. And that was something that was very, very significant in my life, overcoming that claustrophobia. And I understood at that point that meditation was responsible 100% for healing that anxiety, that fear. And so I didn't have any more voices in my head. The voices had disappeared, the voices that were telling me, you're going to die because the walls are caving in. And then I started digging to understand, what was meditation? What is it doing? Why has this altered? Why have I changed in this way? And then I understood that what meditation does is it deals with your amygdala, and your amygdala is that part of the brain that stores, that's responsible for memory and stores information. And when you meditate, the more that you quiet your mind, your amygdala heals, or it disconnects from memory, especially traumas. And that was fascinating for me to understand the truth. And I tell you what, it's been years now. I have never suffered from claustrophobia again. I've never suffered from these anxieties that I suffered, even if, the small anxieties that, that little insecurities that, oh my God, how do I look? Or I don't want to say this in public. Will I, so it sort of gave me that confidence to be who I am and who I am meant to be. And so the point of this is for me unplugging meditation. If you hadn't caught on, I am plugging meditation, and how the beauty of silencing your mind, and how that can heal things that you're not even aware that can be healed. And it's something that you may not be able to explain. You may not understand it. You may not even know, the science of it. But it works. It does work. And when I got into it, my the whole point of me getting into meditation was not even to deal with claustrophobia, like I said. It was just to, I was just looking for a different life. And with that, my God, I found that I could live a happier life with very little mind chatter. And that's what happened, and that's what it did for me. So if you are suffering from any kind of anxiety, try meditation. It works 100%. It will help you deal with certain things, make your life better. You will have a better quality of life that is less fearful, less intimidated. And there's so many, you know, meditations out there online. There's just so many. When I started off, you know, I went online and I Googled meditation, and I've never bought anything, you know, I've never ever paid to learn this skill. It's all been on YouTube. It's all, you know, places, forums, people on YouTube that I've sort of like learned this from. So how do you meditate? There are tons of material online. You could find, you know, seriously, like tutorials, step by step, you know. There's amazing teachers out there on YouTube for free. You know, you don't necessarily have to pay to understand or to learn this practice. You just have to have that willingness to want to change. I have also devised a meditation specifically for anxiety. If you want to check out my website, www.findhappinessinYou.com. And so that's where you have a meditation, you have a visualization, and you have affirmations. And these are the tools I used to help me. So if you just want to go to one place to find all these tools, come to my website, and I've got for you at a very, very small fee. You have to remember that it takes time to create these things. Otherwise, YouTube has this stuff for free if you want. So yeah, check my website out. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Facebook. I love you guys. Subscribe. Give me that thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. God bless.